I don't want, I've figured out I probably shouldn't save all that yabbering on just at the start. So, okay, so we got Michelle from Rock Hill, South Carolina, Caitlin from Waterford, Maine, and Tammy from Moab, Utah, and Judy from Washington. So you're a neighbor of mine. I'm in Vancouver, Canada. Okay, so let's get going with the live. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go to my website, it's BratBusters.com. You can see my free behavior board, my courses. You can get on the list for coaching if you'd like to do that. I'll get to you eventually. And you can listen to our podcast. It's called BratBusters Parenting Podcast, and it's on all the platforms, and we save it on YouTube. We got a really good one coming out on Tuesday. My daughter made me listen to it. And she said, it's just so good, Mom. Anyway, but yeah, she thinks it's our best one yet. So we'll see. And we also wanted to thank you. We started the podcast about a year ago, and we've hit 1 million downloads, which is unbelievable. So we're extremely grateful for your support, and we hope that we're helping you. That's why we're here. And anyway, okay, so let's get going with your questions. And I'll do my best. Queensland, Australia. Oh, sorry about the shooting there. Jeez. I'm Australian too. Isn't that awful? There was a horrible mass shooting in Australia. Awful. Mandy from Calgary. How do you do 24-hour no media with twins? Yeah, if you have multiple kids, which most people do, and you have one kid who has 24-hour media blackout, the one who has 24-hour media blackout has the run of the house. The other kids go in a master bedroom with a smaller screen. Okay, and the whole family suffers a little bit, but they're usually quite happy to do that when their sibling gets no screens. Okay, so that's how it's done. And when you're playing, or when they're, pardon me, with the kids. So I was just thinking, just reading, trying to talk at the same time. I won't read anything. Anyway, while the kid has no media, you're playing games with them. Okay, you're out in the main area in the family room playing board games and all that. Usually with younger kids, they'll come out and join you, because they hear you having fun. So with younger kids, usually about 5, 6 and under, they'll come out and play. Okay. So you got a kid, this is, I can't read out your name. Is it Tia on YouTube? I was just wondering what I should do with my 2.5-year-old when she throws things during a tantrum, take away the toys, or move her into another room. She tries to destroy everything she can. Of course, it's a theater, it's drama. It's a big production she's putting on for you. So throwing things makes it even better for her if you react to that. But what I would do is I would physically restrain her, with caution. You're not going to hurt her. But just if she's getting violent, you physically restrain her. And you don't talk to her, though. You just hold on to her so she can't throw things. She can't hurt herself. She can't hurt anybody else. And then you hold her for maybe 30 seconds, let go. If she starts up again, grab her again. Don't talk to her, though. Remember, the talking is that you're fertilizing it. That's attention. That's why they're doing it. They'll even take bad attention over no attention. So yeah, just ignore the tantrum. I've got tons and tons of videos on how you ignore tantrums. Hi, Tabitha. And minus 23 degrees today in Ontario. Oh, thanks for that. We're just overwhelmed with the response to the podcast. It's not, they say a really good podcast gets 10,000 downloads in the first year, and we hit 1 million. We're just bowled over by this. So very, very grateful. You know what's good about it, though, is in my mind, how many people are we helping out there? Like, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that people aren't, I don't think that you're just listening for entertainment. I think you're listening so that I can help you, right? So yeah, it's very, very exciting. I need you today, like listening to church or therapy. That's so cute. Someone said that my voice is ASMR. I love ASMR. Usually I do makeup. I watch the makeup ones. I don't like the tapping stuff. I just like it when they're putting on makeup, like a facial. Anyway. But yeah, someone actually said I sound like ASMR. I can't see that with my own voice. When you're listen to your own voice, it never sounds the same as when it's in your head. It's agony listening to yourself. Okay, you got a 3-year-old who refuses to poop on the potty. Okay, you didn't say if it's a boy or a girl. It's usually a boy, but sometimes it's a girl. This is Christina. What I do with that is there's 3 reasons why they won't poop on the toilet. Usually 3 reasons. The first one is plop phobia. They might have been splashed in the past. The other one is hanging phobia. They don't like the feeling of it hanging and tugging in midair. And the other one is cold bottom. They just don't, they get all cold and it sort of goes back in. They're like, nope, not coming out. So what you do for that is you put them in a little porta potty so that there's no splashing. Also put some toilet paper in the bottom of the porta potty and it's touching their bottom. Plus when they start to poop, it's not hanging, it's already hitting the bottom. Sorry about it, so graphic, but I talk about this stuff all the time. And then the third one is just put a big blanket around them or hike up the heat in the bathroom while they're going. So, but it's usually boys. I think the reason it's not always, but I think the reason it's mostly boys is they get more equipment hanging out down there. So when they get splashed and more equipment to get cold. Okay, how do you help an 8-year-old manage anger? I don't help them manage anger. I set myself up as a calm leader and that calms them down. Remember, they're not listening to you. You can't therapy session through that kind of stuff. You just set yourself up as a calm leader and it calms them down. I've worked with violent teenagers and all sorts of angry kids and it works. Yeah, it's your calmness, which is that's the medicine for them. Okay. Okay, this is Bobby. Helping my 13-year-old has overdone devices and it's really turning into tantrums and screaming. Yep. Teenagers are usually, all kids are often addicted to devices, especially when they're young. It's usually boys, or more often boys, with gaming and all that. I don't know why, but anyway, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I've seen more. And a lot of teenagers, for different reasons, boys are often gaming. And girls are often socializing, and boys do that too, but girls use it for socializing more than gaming usually. And also when they're on games, they are also socializing because they're chatting to strangers online. That's what scares me. That's where a lot of creeps get access to kids, is through games. So yeah, I can't really help you with that right now. In that I need to assess the situation to decide how to move forward. Each case is a little bit different. But I will read out my top 5 tips for parenting teenagers. Might help. And this is the second one that might help you. Okay. Number 1, listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with, or they will shut you out. If they want your advice, they'll ask for it. They already know it anyway. This is the second one, which might help you. Negotiate as much as possible with teenagers. It goes something like this. Hey, I want you to take the laundry out, or pardon me, put your laundry in the hamper. What do you want from me? Back and forth. So you can negotiate time on screens. Okay. And always come in being kind of tough so that you do, so that they'll come in, you want this, they want that. So you want to meet in the middle. So sort of overshoot what you want. And then you look like you're compromising. But also, now we'll get into this. Number 3, don't sweat the small stuff with teenagers. If they do something stupid and it's not a big deal, just say, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? Or do you want to hear what I did yesterday? Number 4, don't leverage the good times to discuss the bad times. A lot of parents do this. And then I say, a huge mistake, don't discuss the bad times. And they say, well, when do we discuss the bad times? And I say, never. What's the point? I don't understand the point. You're trying to teach them a lesson. It's revenge. It's sort of you rubbing it in. Yeah, what's the point? They already know right from wrong. But a lot of parents want to discuss the bad times. Number 5, you can be a right fighter with a teenager, or you can be happy. You can't be both. Think about it. And if you're arguing with your teenager, which is a big mistake, but if you're arguing with a teenager and they're wrong and you know they're wrong, they're not always wrong. Sometimes you are. And they're wrong. They will die on that hill. They will not give up. Okay, so what are you arguing for? They're not going to give in. They're never going to say, you know what, Mom or Dad, you're absolutely right. I was being ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's just, it might happen, but yeah, that's when hell freezes over. Oh, this is an easy one, Alana. 3-year-old pushing 1-year-old, just put on the behavior board, no pushing or shoving or no hurting your younger brother or sister. So yeah, and then there's a consequence every time they do. Obviously try and prevent it. But if you're not able to, when they do, then you have a consequence. No, they do. I feel like my voice is going. I haven't even been talking much today, so I don't know why. Okay, it's a good question, but I can't help you with it, but I'm going to read it out because lots of people go through this. This is Kiana. I've noticed a great change at home, which is good. So you're doing that. You're being a leader and you're getting results. But my question is, how do I stay in the leadership position when grandparents undermine or use passive aggressive tendencies when we're at their house? Okay, the only thing that you could say to grandparents or any family member or friend who's butting in and undermining you is you could say this: when you undermine my parenting, it hurts my feelings. They will come back with, I'm just trying to help. You say, it hurts my feelings. Now it's out there. They know they're hurting your feelings, okay? And they're admitting to it now. A lot of people will hide behind good intentions, which is absolute garbage, crap. Okay, I don't buy that for one second. I just mean well, I'm trying to help. Bull crap. It's ridiculous. Yeah, doesn't make any sense at all. I'm trying to help. I hate that, hiding behind good intentions. Yeah, people don't care about your intentions. They only care about how you make them feel. That's it. That's it. They don't care what's behind it. Yeah. Gee, you sure could lose 50 pounds. I'm just trying to help. Think that's going to help someone? Really? Think about it. Anyway, good luck with that. I can't help you because I can't control other adults, right? But that's, yeah. My daughter sees, she doesn't get to all of them, but she sees some comments. And on Facebook, there's a lot of more grandparents on there. It's just a different age range on Facebook. And a lot more grandparents on there. And they hate it when I say that. It's none of your business how your kids are raising their kids, unless they're abusing them. Obviously, that's different. But yeah, just keep your mouth shut. Don't give out any unsolicited advice. You're just hurting your kids, right? Well, someone said, well, things will change very quickly once you're a grandmother. I already am a grandmother. So oh, they just get so self-centered and so me. I'm so smart. I want to help you. No, you don't. You just want to beat your chest, and it's not help. Giving unsolicited advice to someone is not help, even if they're struggling. If they come to you for advice, that's different. That's solicited advice. If you're watching me on here, you're soliciting my advice. I would never go out in public or in my personal life and offer advice unless someone asks for it. And even then, I'm careful, by the way, in my personal life. Yeah, my job as a grandmother is I care for my granddaughter 1 day a week. I have her one whole day a week and support the parents. That's my job. Wallow in my granddaughter and support her parents. That's it. That's it. Oh, good for you. This is Tiff. We're ending third week of behavior board. Things are going well. Wow. Don't thank me. Just pat yourself on the back. I just tell you what to do. You're the ones who do the work, right? Good for you. Congratulations. I am so sick of the theory of redirecting. I don't know what that means. Oh, by the way, I've never looked at anyone else out there, so I don't know what others teach, ever. Kids taught me all this. I've never read a book on kids or parenting. Okay, you got a 2.5-year-old and biting. They already know it's not good. That's not why they do it. Like, a lot of parents want their kids to understand it's not good. They don't care if it's good or not. They just care if they get away with it, right? We all know we should never speed, but do we sometimes speed? Yeah. It's the consequences which stop us. So check out my free behavior board. It has a little section on toddlers, okay? And it'll explain how you discipline a toddler. So yeah, understanding is never the problem. They know they shouldn't bite. They know they shouldn't hit. That's never the problem. It's that they just want to. You asked about ADHD. Okay, that's where I learned all this stuff. It was all the kids I worked with. I didn't learn much from parenting because my kids didn't have ADHD or they weren't challenging, because I was a leader right from day one, right? So, but all the kids that I worked with I called them alphabet kids. ADHD, WXYZ, they had all these acronyms after their name. I never cared about any of that. I just connect. What I'm really teaching here is connection, not discipline. Discipline is what everyone asks me about, but that's not what I'm all about at all. It's connection. It's everything. How I was mentoring troubled teens, and someone once asked me, they said, how do you connect with a troubled teenager? And I said, I'll use a lot of humor, but I never tell them what I don't like. I never judge them. I never criticize them, but I don't take any crap at the same time. But I can't go into that because I'm not teaching how you mentor troubled teens. But it's connection. It's always connection. How to get my 2-year-old from throwing food. It's so embarrassing at restaurants if it happens. Well, you got to fix it at home usually. Plus, why are you handing them food? If I got a 2-year-old who throws food, I would be hand feeding them. Or I'd feed them before I went out so they weren't hungry and they could sit there and color. So yeah, I would manage that. I wouldn't allow that. And then the only reason why you do hand feed them is because they don't want that, right? Well, I would feed them before I go out. So I just would. And fix it at home. I wouldn't allow a kid to throw food in a restaurant. Thanks for your support, Elizabeth. Must be an actual realistic consequence. Huh? Don't know what you mean. I don't think I hand out any unrealistic consequences. By the way, maybe you're talking about natural consequences. I think that's what people are calling it out there. Where the punishment fits the crime? No, it doesn't have to at all. It can, but it doesn't have to. Is not listening or following requests normal behavior for an almost 3-year-old? Only if you're not a leader. If you're a leader, it's not normal. They listen to a leader. So work on yourself. Remember, it's never them. Everyone's trying to fix their kids. That has nothing to do with it. All the kids I worked with, they respected me. But was it them? I just lucked out and got them on a good day. I never worked with easy kids or teenagers. It's never them. It's always you. Work on yourself, not them. We're not fixing kids. We're fixing and teaching parents here. So you lead, they will follow, especially at that age. Someone's getting mad on here. I don't get a lot of negativity on these things anymore. I used to a lot when I was first coming out. People, I don't know, threatened by me or something. I don't care. I don't get a lot of negativity, but I always think it's funny. Okay. How do you start the behavior board? It's an instructional thing. You can go on my free, go on my website, BratBusters.com, and it'll be there. It explains it all. We're pretty careful with that. We've worked on that. My daughter and I, we've worked on that for a good year now, making sure it's very clear, very doable. It's free. It's the training wheels with all this stuff. It has a toddler section too. The behavior board starts at 3, but it's like 2 mini courses in there. 1 for 3 and above, 1 for toddlers. I don't have anything on teenagers yet. You can use a behavior board with teenagers too. You don't call it a behavior board. Call it like a family chart or rules or something, or an accountability chart. But you're on there too. If you're not on a behavior board, you're not a leader. You're a dictator. So you've got to be accountable. Okay, this is Amanda. Do you allow kids to be picky eaters when sick? I typically make her try what I make, but haven't while she's been sick. If they're sick, I don't ignore tantrums. I spoil them rotten. They can have whatever they want, so long as it's healthy, right? And within reason. But yeah, when they're sick, I cater to them. All this stuff goes out the window when they're sick. You always say you meet their needs and manage their wants. The discipline is around the wants usually, not the needs. You always meet their needs. So if they're sick, they just need to be catered to and coddled and looked after. I always say, you don't do this, you don't do that. Like, don't let them decide where they're going to eat. If my kids were sick and not eating and they wanted to have soup on the couch, they would have soup on the couch. I would have blankets all around. But you know what I'm saying? If they're sick, I cater to them. And then they slingshot right back afterwards. They realize that's an exception because they're sick. They learn that. Is there misbehaving? Don't address, just redirect? No, not at all. I do that with babies. I redirect babies, but not about 16 months and older. I don't. That's the free behavior board. You can check that out. Okay, I've already answered that question. They're teething and they're in pain and they're having a tantrum. I would cater to them. I'd put ice on something. I'd give them a cold cloth, whatever, something to chew on. Yeah, you meet their needs. If they're in pain or sick, I don't ignore a tantrum. No way. Oh, someone asked, how do I introduce words to a 17-month-old? I teach parent-child relationships. I don't teach education. So basically they're watching you. Reading books is really helpful if you want to help them with their language skills. But, they all learn at different stages. I knew someone who didn't walk or talk till they were 3, and then they got up, never shut up, and ran. So they were just waiting, just were in no rush. So yeah, they're all different. But reading, evidently, from what I've heard, works really well for teaching, but I'm not a teacher. So, plus I don't, no, I know you're not talking about me, Francina. I was just laughing anyway. And even if you were, I'd still laugh anyway. See, I used to work with troubled teenagers. Nothing phases me. I've seen it all. Okay. I don't usually get into this, but I know other people are going through it. Tammy, 7-year-old is completely obsessed with Minecraft, and I just can't get into it. Everything he does seems to relate to Minecraft, and it's all he talks about. Anything he creates with Legos, drawing, etc. is Minecraft. I tried to get into it, but I'd like for something else to connect with him. Help. I would be so into Minecraft if I have a kid who was obsessed with it. I just would, you know. Yeah, I would. Sorry about that, but yeah, I would if he's obsessed with it. My son was really into, he loved gaming, but he loved Lego. We used to go to, what was that called? It was where you go to this ring, you can literally go and watch it, and they're competing with all these, they're hanging from things. They're not fighting so much, but they're both on these way up high, and they have Gladiator. That's what it was called, Gladiator. We used to go and watch it in person. And my son was obsessed with it. We all got into it, actually. It was kind of fun. But my son really got into this. So I remember I used to sew and also sort of do artwork on his T-shirts. And I took a picture of Gladiator and pressed it on there and then outlined it with color. And he just loved it. So yeah, show an interest in what he loves. Yeah, that's how you connect. Would I have gone to see Gladiator in person? Probably 10 times that we went. If I didn't have a son who was into it, I doubt that very much. Oh, I forgot to put my timer on. I have no idea how long I've been talking. Darn it. Okay, this is a good question, but I don't have a good answer. How much do you manage phones and messaging with a 13-year-old boy? That's a conversation I have in coaching. We have to assess how important is socializing to a 13-year-old boy, or is he gaming, or what else is he doing on the phone, if you know what I mean. You got to figure out what's going on the phone, ask him what he does, try and figure it out, and then you have to come up with a schedule. And I would strongly recommend that the phone goes on a charger in your room or something where he can't have it throughout the night past a certain hour, like let's say 10 o'clock or something, that he can't have it. But I'm also very flexible with that. If his friends are up till 11 gaming together, I don't want him to be missing out. You got to assess what's going on and then come up with a plan that he will agree with, that think is fair. No, not agree with, that he will, that you want to, I was going to say, he's not going to say, yeah, that sounds great. Something that you think is fair, okay? But you always give a little bit. Like, you don't just say, this is what I've decided. You say, look, this is what I think should happen. What do you think? You think that's fair? You want his feedback, and then give a bit. You always give a bit, right? You got to be willing to negotiate with teenagers. Oh, thanks, Jessica. I'm thrilled with that. That's why I do these lives, and most of what we do is completely free, like the podcast, thousands of videos, these lives, it's all free. And because, we're in the caring field. And I was just talking to someone the other day, and they just said, do you like what you do? And I said, well, I did it really before I was getting paid for it. Like, I was always mentoring kids, all for free, volunteer. I understand the importance of starting kids out right. And I understand the importance of connection with kids. And I just want to spread the word. I really believe that connection is everything. If kids feel that you really enjoy being with them, their love language is fun, play. If they feel that you really enjoy being with them, you've started them off on the right foot. They feel great about themselves when you enjoy their company. That's a big part of it. Okay, sorry, I'm going to move over to Instagram now. If you don't want to join me over there, check out my website. It's BratBusters.com. You can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, and you can look into the podcast. It's on all the platforms. And we just hit 10 million. No, what 10 million? That's stupid. We just hit 1 million downloads in like the first year of podcasting. So we're just stunned. And thanks so much for your support. That means a lot to us. But also that says to me that we are on the right track. We are helping people. And that's what we're here for, really. It's a business too, but really it's a passion project. That's how it started with me. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me. And I'm hopping over to Instagram, and I'm on YouTube the whole time. Happy parenting. Sorry, I was forgetting to look at YouTube. I'll look at that in a second as soon as I get set up here. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, that's a tough one, Kiana, being at their house. I would still say that, it hurts my feelings. That's not an attack. They'll take it that way because they're going to be very defensive. Okay. But good luck to you. And I don't manage grandparents. That's not my job here. But it comes up a lot. Like I can't manage your in-laws or your parents. I can't manage them. Yeah, there's not much you can do. Like there's other questions. Yeah, there's not much you can do with grandparents. The thing is, if you're really strong leaders, your kids can weather any storm. Sounds like those grandparents are a bit of a storm. Okay. You work on your leadership skills and it will trump anything that's going on with anyone else. It's just the way it is. So you got a 4-year-old. Oh, I'm going to introduce myself. My name's Lee. I'm on Instagram now and I'm on YouTube the whole time whenever I'm doing a live. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on my website, it's BratBusters.com. You can see my free behavior board, my parenting courses, my coaching. I'm sorry, I have a very big wait list for coaching, but I will get to you eventually. I had 3 spots open and then 3 existing clients took those spots really fast. Well, that's what keeps happening is the regulars keep rehiring me. So sorry about that. They will always take first priority. Some people complain about that, say it's not fair, but they will always take first priority. My existing past clients will always take first priority. So that's what happens. Anyway, so sorry about that. Anyway, and then the podcast is called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on all the platforms and you can check it out on YouTube. You can watch us. We've got a podcast coming out this Tuesday. My daughter made me watch it. So I hate listening to myself. But she said, Mom, it's our best podcast ever. And it's coming out this Tuesday. I watched the whole thing. It was agony. It was pretty good. I don't know if it's our best. It's not my favorite one, but I think it's going to resonate. You'll understand if you know me well enough why it's not my favorite one. I got kind of heated in it. But anyway. Yeah, so that's coming out on Tuesday. We do 2 podcasts a week and we hit 1 million downloads after about a year of being starting the podcast. So thanks so much for your support. And the way I look at it is the reason why it's picked up is word of mouth. It means we're helping people. It means we're not there to entertain you. We're there to help you. So it means it's working. So I'm thrilled. Okay. And I don't know if, I keep saying thanks for your support. You're not tuning in to support me. How self-serving does that sound? I always think that sounds self-serving. Like what I should be saying is I'm glad I'm helping. I hope I am. And that's what I mean. I'm not thanking you for your support. You're not doing it just to support me. It's kind of silly when you think about it, isn't it? Okay. I was laughing. I told you this a while ago. I don't listen to the podcast very often. And I listened to one, very first time I ever listened to it. My daughter manages all that stuff. And I listened to one and I thought, wow, that's fabulous. If I wasn't me, I'd listen to me. And then I listened to another one and I thought, I hated that. Obviously, I'm not in marketing. But the next one I thought was boring. But it was funny. I thought, wow, I'm great. And then it was like, we're very particular. We toss a lot of podcasts that we film. We just go, the energy just wasn't right. Or we just didn't like the message. We don't do that very often anymore. We're getting better at it. But yeah, we're loving it. It's the only time we ever work together, my daughter and I, because we have separate jobs in the company. So the only time we ever work together is the podcast. And she does not work for me. She is totally in charge of all what she does. I ask her permission about where we're going with the business. Okay, 11-year-old, messy room all the time. Well, she's 11. She's on the cusp here. I allow teenagers to have a messy room with 2 rules. No devices in your room and no food or drink. That's it. But I did allow my kids at 13, around that age, to have messy rooms. And I'm fanatically fussy. So, but I just made that choice. You got to give them something. You got to give them total control over something. And even that, there was no food and no devices in your room. They could have their phones, but they couldn't have like a TV and, all set up. We'd never see them. Teenagers just disappear into their room. And also, and when my kids were young, phones just weren't as, like, they were different back then. Now they're all encompassing, right? So, but also I would take their phones out of their room at night if it was a problem when they were like 13, 14, around there. Past that age, it's harder to do. Well, I don't know. You're asking me. Okay, it says, Denise, my 2-year-old is great whenever we're out of the house, but why does he throw tantrums at home? I have no idea. I don't know what you're doing. I have no idea. Maybe there's just more interesting stuff out there, and when he gets home, he's bored. I don't know. I'd have to figure that out. You got a 4-year-old who hits and kicks you, regardless if you say they have a hearing loss. They can still, get the behavior board going, and then put down no hurting other people. So whenever they hit, kick, bite, whatever, then they get a consequence. Check it out. The behavior board's very self-explanatory, and it's completely free. It's the training wheels with all this stuff. That's where you get started. And lots of people are getting really good results just with that free behavior board. Most of what we have out there is free. Okay. If you want to go more in depth with stuff, that would be the podcast. And we've got enough podcasts out there now that you can literally go into one of the platforms and search a specific topic. Or on YouTube, you can search, like if you go into my YouTube channel, you can search like tantrums or whatever, and lots of stuff will come up on the podcast. We go into a lot more detail in the podcast. That's why my daughter said we've got to start a podcast, because these lives and the videos, they're just short, right? But we're answering your questions in the podcast, so they go into more detail. Okay, you have a 10-year-old obsessed with baseball cards, buying and selling, been and gifted. Okay, I don't know what to say about that, because is it really that unhealthy if he's struggling to? It's not about the cards. There's something else going on there. It doesn't make any sense to me. He's struggling to focus on school because of the cards. There's something else going on there. You'd have to hire me for that, and I don't think you want to hire me just for that. It's expensive, and I got a huge wait list. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to figure that one out. Like for baseball cards to be interfering in school. That's what I'm confused by. Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Hello. Oh yeah, this one's a tricky one. 3-year-old seems to have ADHD. Is it cruel to have consequences around staying in his chair, etc.? It depends. Yeah. You can get him to stay at the dinner table, but I wouldn't expect a kid just to sit still all the time if he's got ADHD. You got to work with his abilities, right? So yeah, a lot of them are really fidgety, and so yeah, I don't know the situation, but kids with ADHD can usually sit through a meal. They can still squirm a lot, but they can usually sit through a meal. So I don't know what kind of chair you want. Do you want him to sit for how long, and for consequences on the behavior board, what do you suggest for a consequence if we don't use screens in our family? I've got it on there. It explains it. You take something that they use every single day and that they like, you take that away. I don't know if I added inventing leverage on there. That's if you've got nothing to take away. I don't like to talk about that because a lot of parents want to do that and nothing else. So I don't talk about that a lot. It might be in there. I can't remember. What do you do when a 3-year-old says something rude, like she doesn't like her sister? So that's just in the attitude department. Just ignore that stuff, okay? I would just go, oh, whatever. Yeah. She's trying to get a reaction. Unless she says it like she's crying and she's not mad, and she goes, I just really don't like her. That's maybe because her sister's being mean to her or something, or I don't know. But generally, just ignore that stuff. Yeah, behavior board consequence, take away his favorite toy. But that's always the second consequence. There's always two consequences for every rule. The first one is a positive action. If they won't do it, then you do the negative deprivation. So if they do something negative, you replace it with something positive. Okay, you did something bad, now replace it with a good deed, right? If they won't do that, then you go to, so it goes bad, good, bad. So if they won't do the good, then you just take something away. So it's negative, positive, negative. You see? I want to give them the opportunity to do the positive. If they won't do it, then fine. We'll take something away. They eventually learn. I love that. It was so cute. One of my clients, I always get permission for these stories. One of the best stories I ever came across in coaching. It was hilarious, but a really good lesson in it. I forgot which client it was, and I didn't ask permission. So frustrated with. Usually I ask. As soon as I hear something cute, I thought, can I tell that? And I never use names, obviously. Anyway, this was so cute. This little 7-year-old boy had gone to 24-hour media blackout, right? And when he got it back, he loved his PlayStation or whatever. And he finally got it back after a whole day. And he didn't know his mom could hear him. And he said to himself, I won't be doing that again. So he learned it was him. It was his choice to do the bad behavior, then not to do the good deed, the positive action consequence. And then he lost his PlayStation for 24 hours. He just got it. Like it was him. It wasn't his mother. It was him. He did it. His mom didn't do it to him. He did it to himself. It is, Sammy. I agree with your leadership advice and try to follow it. My husband does not. Do you think it's bad for both of us to parent differently? Absolutely. You don't have to both parent the same, but you can't undermine each other. Like you have to be on the same page. So there's usually one leader and one follower with the parents. So like a good example of that was my dad was a pleaser parent. And whatever I'd asked him, he'd always say, sure, sweetie pie, you can have whatever you want. And my mom was the leader. And I remember one day I asked him for something that I probably shouldn't have had, maybe candy or something. And he said, sure, sweetie pie, you can have whatever you want. And then he stopped himself and he says, oh, let's check with your mom first. And I said, never mind. So now they're on the same page. He wasn't the leader, but he was deferring to my mom. So you got to be on the same page. If you're contradicting each other, it's going to be a disaster. And if you've got a spouse who isn't on board with what I say, I would say a story that most people like and they kind of get it is the pool story. If you Google BratBusters pool story, it'll come up. I can't tell it again. I've told it thousands of times. I just can't. If you look that up, a lot of clients are sold on this just by watching that pool story. You'll get it. Deal with bad behavior. Focus on the good kid. What about toddlers who always say no, mine? Well, my granddaughter, she's not quite 2. And she says no to everything right now. She's going through it. The funny thing is that she says no and then she does whatever you want anyway. She just likes saying no. But a good example of that is if I say, okay, we're going to cross the street, hold my hand or hold grandma's hand. She goes, no. And if she sometimes won't put her hand up, but she usually does now. But she went through a real stage where she would go like that. And I would just say, yep. And I would grab her hand anyway. Just follow through with what needs to be done. She never fought. I mean, she just understood it's going to happen anyway. So follow it up with action. Don't worry about them saying no. It doesn't matter. They're just giving it a go. Oh, I'm going to scroll ahead to make sure you're still here. Oh, sugar. A lot of questions I skipped over, but a lot of people come and go in these lives. So I need to keep scrolling to the end. Okay, what do you do when you remove a 2-year-old from a situation for disobeying, like throwing a toy, but then they hit you when you were trying to talk to them in a positive way? They're not ready to hear it yet. So if you've removed them for maybe a couple of minutes, you hold them away from you so they can't hit you. What I mean is facing the other way. So if you've removed them from the fun, you just can hang on to them from behind and just go silent, just for 2 minutes. Why are you trying to talk to them? They're not in that zone yet. They're still in the fight zone. Yeah, someone said sorry, my voice is really bad lately. I think I'm maybe fighting something. Faith said, is that Fathia? Okay. Said, what I love about your approach is that it focuses on connection and accountability of the parent. Yes, it's all up to you. You got to be accountable. If you're not, your kids aren't going to be, because they're not listening to you. They're watching you, right? Monkey see, monkey do. So if you're accountable and you're calm, it calms them down and they become accountable. Doesn't that make sense, right? Everyone wants to tell their kids how to act. You show them how to act. That's what a leader does. You lead and they will follow. It's just natural. It's organic. It truly is. They can't fight with a calm, loving leader forever. Eventually they'll give in. Because makes them feel good. Makes them feel good to be with a calm, loving leader. Right? If you ever defer from that and get sidetracked and get caught up in all their drama, you're not a calm, loving leader anymore. Now you're part of their drama. Now they're in charge and they know that. You start the behavior board at 3, Natalie asked. That's when they can, something to do with the frontal lobe, which I know nothing about, but doctors have said it's the frontal lobe develops at 3 or something around there. Anyway, it's when they have the ability to stop and think before they act. Now, let me rephrase that. It's when they have the ability to learn how to stop and think before they act. So, and it's your corrections, the consequences, which teach them to stop and think before they act. Like, there's no point in acting out if you know it's not going to work. That's when they get really easy. 3 is a fork in the road. If you're a leader, they get super easy. If you're not, they can go the other way because they're like, you don't know what you're doing. So they take over. They figured it out. It's almost like they blow out the candles on their 3rd birthday and they go, you don't know what you're doing. I'm going to take over now. Maybe it's not quite that evil, but anyway. Well, I don't quite know what you're talking about here, but this is Jenny. What about a 2-year-old pulls away and throws themselves on the ground when they're supposed to be doing something? You can never make a 2-year-old do something, but you can make something happen to them if it needs to be done. What I mean by that is you can't get a 2-year-old to get into a high chair if they don't want to, because they can't anyway, but you've got to make it happen. So you can't force a 2-year-old to do anything. It's impossible. You really can't force anyone to do anything. So yeah, but you just make it happen anyway. Okay, time to get in the car seat. No, throw themselves on the ground, pick them up, kicking and screaming, get them in the car seat. Don't look at them or talk to them while they're kicking and screaming though. So follow it up with action. What if attitude is the main issue? What behavior should we pick for the board? You can't. Their bad attitude means you're not a leader. You've grown that. You're the cause of that. So work on your leadership skills. The behavior board is about actions. It's not about behavior. Their bad attitude is because of your parenting. You can't blame them for that. They're just your victims, right? You can't blame them for that. Their bad attitude is something you did, not them. Okay? No one wants to hear that, but it's the truth. So yeah, work on yourself. When I was working with kids, they were all challenging. When I was working with them, if they acted out around me, I always thought, what am I missing here? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? See, a leader always blames themselves rather than blame the kids. I hear this a lot. Oh, my kids are a terror. Well, what are you doing wrong? So everyone wants to blame their kids, but it's not them. Toddlers are kind of nuts anyway, but past the age of about 3, their behaviors are between the ages of 3 and 12, their behavior is a direct result of your parenting, their attitude, behavior, everything. It's a direct result of your parenting. So look in a mirror. Okay? It's all you. I don't fix kids, I fix parents. 3-year-old saying, go away, I want daddy. I would say, well, you're stuck with me, so deal with it, and then just follow through. I wouldn't feed that. What they're saying is, I'm in charge, I'm in charge. Yeah. Remember my kids, once I heard their dad was giving them a bath one night, and one of the younger one would have said, oh, I want mom. And I yelled out from the family room, well, you're stuck with dad, so deal with it. And they never said another word. So yeah, they're not going to manipulate us. No. Nope. Now, if they were sick, that would be different, right? I meet their needs and manage their wants. If they're sick and they're upset and want mommy, I'm in there in a shot. Otherwise, nope, they're not in charge. We are. New here, 4 and 2-year-old, where to start. Check out my website, BratBusters.com. It's the free behavior board. It's completely free because I called it the free behavior board. And it has a toddler section and then a 3+ section. So it explains it because everything shifts and changes at 3. That's when the behavior board starts. That's the training wheels with all this. If you want to go further, then that would be the courses. If you want to go even further, that would be coaching. But I do have a wait list for that, a big one. So I know I'm just asking when my toddler won't be nuts anymore. Yeah, good luck with that. It happens slowly. They will try stuff out. Now, toddlers, they're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. They're just going to try stuff. They might even go like this and smear poop on the wall. You can't figure them out. I'm going to read my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1, child-proof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2, set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3, you connect with toddlers in their world, never in your world. You don't take them to the nail salon to connect with them. You go to the park and roll down the hill with them. They look at you differently. Number 4, you discipline toddlers in their world. They are not about words. They are about actions. That's why we use consistent corrective actions with toddlers. To me, a toddler is 16 to 35 months. Anyway, and number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. They're just brand new, fresh human beings. They've got one marble and some tumbleweed floating around up there. They're cute as a button, but they're all feet, no brains. Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years and the first year you were a potato laying on a mattress. They've got no context, no experience, no wisdom yet. Okay. That was actually my least favorite age is toddlers. And at home, they were great. But when I took them out, because they're dangerous, right? Like you're always worried about them. I got my granddaughter one day a week and I watch her like a hawk when I'm out because they're all feet, no brains, right? Actually, she's a very calm little girl. I'm lucky that way. But yeah, my kids were too, but I've looked after a lot of kids who were wild and runners. So yeah, they're just worrisome keeping track of them. Okay. Is it appropriate to ask a 2-year-old to say sorry for the disobeying act? And after you have sat with them, the child is calm after connect. Does this help build them? No. That's the therapy session talk. It's kind of, no. Most people know what I usually say about that. I'll be kinder here. But no, it does nothing. They learn empathy through your leadership and how you treat them. That's how they learn it as time goes on. But at 2, they can't have empathy. They can't begin to learn empathy till they're really 3 years and 9 months. That's when that kicks in. Don't ask me how I know that. It's just, I always said that for years and years now. There's some big 50-year-old study from some psychologist who said it's 3 years and 9 months. So, but I've been saying that for 50 plus years. So anyway, but yeah, it doesn't build empathy. They're not listening to you. They don't care. Saying I'm sorry means nothing. It's just a way of getting out of trouble. I'm sorry. Is it okay now? Can I go? Yeah, they don't get it. I've lost track of time. I think I got to run. I got to go over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, it's the same. It's BratBusters Parenting. If not, check out my website, BratBusters.com. You can get my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching. Sorry, there is a big wait list for coaching, but I'll get to eventually. And the podcast is called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. We started it about a year ago and we just hit 1 million downloads. So we're just flabbergasted. That means we're probably helping you. You must be getting some information in there that's helping. So we are absolutely thrilled. It's a caring field business. That's what we're in. And the podcast is free. Most of what we do is free. And helping people is what makes our job just wonderful. So thanks so much for listening to the podcast. And I hope we're helping you. Anyway, I'm hopping over to TikTok now. And I'm on YouTube the whole time whenever I'm doing a live. That's where I save all my lives. My podcasts are also saved on YouTube if you want to watch them. We've got a big one coming out on Tuesday. My daughter said it's going to be our best one. She loves it. I like it. I can see why she thinks it's going to be a really good performer. It's on Tuesday and it's coming out. I get a little bit heated in it. But anyway, it is a good one. So that's coming out. We do them Tuesdays and Thursdays. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to TikTok. Happy parenting. Oh, so many buttons to push to do a live. Oh, come on. It's not working. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take a drink. My throat gets sore. Okay, sorry, I was just reading YouTube here. Welcome to the live. We're just waiting for everyone to turn up before I introduce myself. It's pouring rain here in Vancouver. We get weather alerts for rain here. We don't have like storms really, not like I lived in Australia for about 20 years. They get storms, tropical. If you've lived anywhere tropical, you know what I mean. If the rain comes down so hard and so fast that you can't see very far, and also you're drenched right down to your underpants as soon as you step out in it. It's that bad. Watching from rural Australia. We lived in Brisbane mostly. So I was there for about 20 years. Okay, welcome to the live. I'll just do a quick introduction, then we'll get going. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go to my website, BratBusters.com, you can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching. Sorry, there is a really big wait list for that, but I'll get to you eventually. And the podcast is called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. And it's on all the platforms, and we save it on YouTube if you want to watch us. We've got a really good one coming out on Tuesday, and my daughter hardly ever makes me listen to myself, but she said, Mom, can you please listen to this one? And she goes, I think it'll be our best one ever. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's the one who does all that stuff, but I really liked it, but we'll see. Anyway, it's a really good message in it. Really good message. And it's not something I talk about. I can't believe it never came up before. Something came out and I was almost in tears when I said it. And it's something I've never said before. It was quite interesting. I think it all the time. It comes out in coaching more, but it was quite interesting. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, appreciate your no-nonsense parenting tips. Yeah, I am no nonsense. I don't have a filter. What you see is what you get with me. I don't think before I talk. My daughter is my filter in the business, and she controls the editing and the podcast. So you can imagine what comes out in there that she edits out. So yeah, no nonsense. I don't like wasting people's time. And I never say what I think you want to hear. I say what you need to hear. So what I mean by that is I can be quite brash at times when I say stuff, but you need to hear it. You need to hear that your kid's behavior is all up to you. Don't blame them for it. Blame yourself. Take responsibility for your kid's behavior. It doesn't mean it is always your fault, but I want you to take that attitude. How long is your wait list? I don't know. It could be, I don't know how long it's going to take. I thought I was going to have three spots open this week, but 3 previous clients rehired me again. They always take first spot, and most clients rehire me. So they want the ongoing support, but they don't always see me every week. So sometimes they'll stretch it out once a month or whatever. So it might be to get through that list, maybe a month or 2, or maybe 3. I'm not sure. I don't know. We've often talked about not coaching because we'd make a lot more money if I didn't coach. We could put money into books and my time into other stuff. I love coaching. Because I'm maternal. It's just a huge thing that I need to do. And my kids are grown, so my clients are my kids. That's the way I look at it. I love coaching. It's my favorite thing in my business. What would you do if your 11-month-old hits? Yeah, just say no, really quick, like just really gently, no, and then redirect. And then don't allow them to continue hitting. You hold on to that hand or whatever. Then you start reading a book or playing a game. Don't make it really exciting though. It's more stimulation. So I don't say that enough actually, because when you got a baby, you use redirection with babies. That's up to about 15 months. At 16 months, you can start using consistent corrective action. It's a bit of a gray area when you start transferring over to that. But yeah, you're just redirecting, but don't do it in like a crazy way. You just, oh, no, and let's go read a book or let's go play over here. Because they're often like kind of heightened when they are naughty. So, or getting all upset. So you want to sort of calm it down. But it's just going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight. They don't really know right from wrong yet. You're teaching them right from wrong when they're babies by using redirection. And then at 16 months old, they start to know they shouldn't be hitting, and they can start to learn through consistent corrective actions. My 5-year-old has started saying, no, I hate blah, blah, blah. How do I stop it? You don't stop it. Allow him to say that. Just go, oh, okay. And then if he doesn't do it, there's a consequence. If it's something that needs to be done, he says, no, I hate and I won't do it or whatever. Just say, okay, well, here's your consequence. Use the behavior board. It's completely free on my website. It'll explain how you follow through. He's It bugs you, and that's why he says it, by the way. If it didn't bug you, I would just say, whatever, here's your consequence. Look, I don't get pulled into that stuff. Your 2-year-old's favorite word is no. So just fall up in the high chair. No, pick him up, put him in the high chair. Come on, time to get in the car. No, pick him up, put him in the car. Bath time. No, pick him up, put him in the tub. If it's something that has to be done and they say no, do it anyway. Who cares what they say? They're just testing you. My granddaughter says it all the time, but she's sort of realizing it's not working. So she says no, and then she does it anyway. So you say, hold my hand. No. And she gives you her hand. Here, try this food. No. And she eats it. She's just, it's hilarious. She's actually very easy. So they're not all like that, by the way. We'll see. They might get a real terror next time. You never know, right? My 3-year-old screams at everyone that says hi to him. Well, it's a manipulative tactic, so I don't quite know how I deal with that because I don't know what else you're doing. It's very rude to do that, and he would know that. So yeah, he doesn't respect you, I'm guessing. Work on your leadership skills. That kind of stuff happens organic. That should take care of itself organically once you're a leader. The attitude is the very last thing to go away, but you've got to earn that. You've got to work for that. People blame their kids for the bad attitude. It's not them, it's you. So yeah, people get that mixed up. And then someone said, oh, wait, a parent shame. And I'm like, you'd rather blame your kids? You'd rather shame your children than, you see, like, blame yourself. Don't blame your kids for their bad behavior. Think, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix myself up. I'm going to learn how to be a leader. You'll thank me later. Now, I also want to say, I didn't really discipline my kids much. They just never did anything. It was very rare because I was already a leader. Leadership is hard to get, but once you got it, maintaining it's a piece of cake. You can relax, be friends with your kids. Nothing's a problem. It's just relaxing and fun. That's where I want you to go. Everything we're talking about is hard work because you're getting respect. Once you've got it, piece of cake, you can just relax and be friends with your kids. I remember several moms at school used to say this about us. I had a little blue RAV4 when they first came out. I used to love the little RAV4. Now they're huge things. Anyway, but they were really cute Jeepy thing. Anyway, I just got this new RAV4, and all these parents used to say, we always recognize you going past your RAV4, and they say, you and your kids look like this. You know that cartoon when people laugh and their heads, the top of their heads would go up? And they said, do you guys laugh all the time? And I go, yeah, pretty much. I was a leader. That means I can relax and enjoy my kids. That's where you want to go, right? And if anyone was being disciplined, it was me. I'd often forget stuff. Mom, you forgot to do that. Here's your consequence. I was always the one in trouble. So yeah, you just want to relax and enjoy your children. This is the way you do it. You got to earn that. I earned that, right? I earned it. Okay, you said my kid suddenly started stuttering. She's 3. Go to a doctor. I can't comment. That's a medical thing. I would go to a doctor or seek out professional help. Yeah, I can't comment on that. Okay, do you recommend minimum age to start potty training or what? Okay, I have a whole potty training course. It's a whole system. I can't give tips on potty training. It's a whole system. And I trained both my kids at 2.5. So my daughter probably could have trained her a lot younger. Not my son so much. And I trained them both, basically my son in 1 day, my daughter in 2 days. No pull-ups, no night diapers, nothing. It's a whole system. I was already a leader, so it made it go really well. That's why it went so easily. But it's a really good way to get some leadership skills too. And 2.5 is a good age to potty train. If you train them too young, like under 2 especially, they're more likely to regress. But a lot of parents have said, oh, I trained mine at 18 months old and they did great. That's great. But they are more likely to regress if you train them really young. So 2.5 is a good age. A lot of people started around 2 and then they say they were fully trained at 2.5. Well, I don't want that. I'd rather just wait and then there's no messes. So, oh, so happy to hear this. It's one of my most successful tips. I used your wet rag trick for my 21-month-old spitting at me. Thank you. She stopped spitting within the day. 21 months old. Okay. That's the tip. If you've got a kid who spits, you use the wet rag approach. And you don't treat it like a bad behavior. It's just a bad habit. So when they spit, you go, oh, I see you spit. We'll just get you cleaned up. And that rag, that wet rag, should not be warm and cozy. It should be nice and cool, if you know where I'm getting with this. And then you take your time wiping their spitty mouth. You know what I'm saying? Let's get you all cleaned up here. And then clean up the floor or wherever else. And then every time they spit, always have that wet rag handy. And yeah, it worked in one day. It often works in one day. But there's no punishment. It's just, oh, we're just cleaning you up. Now, I don't want to recommend this, but I have had parents who keep that wet rag in the fridge. I don't recommend that. I'm just saying. That's usually with older kids who do it. Oops, a lot of questions flying in here. When are kids expected to start saying please and thank you? Well, they can learn that at about 2. Yeah, but it's sort of more constant reminding because you want it to become a habit. It's not done out of the goodness of their hearts kind of thing. It's just they learn through habit. I know my son yesterday, I was out with him and my granddaughter, and he says, Mom, boy, she's got your number. She's my granddaughter. I want to point this out. They make her say please and thank you to everything. I'm grandma. She says, help. She's grandma, help. And she just hands me, she doesn't even look at me anymore. I'm right beside her in the restaurant. She has something she wants help with. She just hands it to me. I'm her grandma, right? I'm just good. And my son said, she never says please with you. Sometimes I ask her to say please, and she does. Oh, please, but yeah. My kids, they had to say please every time they wanted something, just like my granddaughter has to do with her parents. Not with grandma, though. Grandmas are different. We're allowed to be their little servants if we want. I only have her one day a week, and I usually see her a second day also. Yeah, I have her a full day. I just want to wallow in her. Oh, how do grandparents become leaders when the parents don't seem to correct bad behavior? You do not. It's not your job. I just sort of explained that. My granddaughter has 2 leaders. They're called Mommy and Daddy. I'm grandma. I'm different. I am not a leader. I am her grandmother. They only have 2. Parents are the leaders. I'm the support. I'm here to adore her and wallow in her and spoil her if I want. And that's my job. Unless the parents ask me not to, I would not spoil her. That's up to them. But I don't spoil her and let her get away with stuff. Not that kind, but I do buy her a lot of things. But then the parents are the leaders. My job is to wallow in my granddaughter and support the parents. That's my job. If they ever ask for advice, they're doing a great job. They don't need my help. If they ever ask for my advice, I would give it cautiously, not telling them what to do, but saying, well, I might try this. But yeah, not your kid. You're not the leader. But I always say I'm not a leader, but I've got a very leadership way about me. So like a little thing, like if I'm walking with her and I need to grab her hand or something, and she's just going through a stage, doesn't want to grab your hand anymore. If she says no to me to grab, I grab her hand anyway, right? So, I still let her know that when I say something that needs to be done, like you need to hold my hand, we're crossing the street, I just grab her hand anyway. So, but I'm not her leader. Her parents are very different. What's the appropriate age to discipline? You use redirection to show them right from wrong. Up until about 16 months is when you start consistent corrective actions. And that's explained explicitly in my free behavior board, how you do that. Okay, I don't want to go into all that stuff because I have to repeat it too many times. I can't do that. I've been doing these lives for about 3 years now. I can't keep saying the same thing over and over again. Consistent corrective actions, it's all explained in the behavior board. It's on my website. And that starts at 16 months. How do you become a good leader? Well, just keep listening and there's not one sentence I can answer that. Just keep watching. But my daughter made me come up with 3 tips. I don't like this. It's the top 3 leadership qualities. I don't like it because there's like 300, but anyway. Number 1, you be calm during the storms. That's when you're disciplining and sort of the poop's hitting the fan. You stay completely calm. And then number 2, be crazy during the rainbows. Fun is their love language. You want to be crazy and silly. I'm very goofy by nature, so I find connecting with kids very easy. So be crazy during the rainbows. Get in their world. Okay, you want to be nuts. You want to be goofy. And then number 3, be a great listener. This is more important as they get older. You listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with. Those are my top 3 tips. Why don't my kids listen until I'm loud? Because they don't respect you. Work on your leadership skills and they'll respect you. You got to earn that. You got to earn that. And I've never repeated myself and I've never yelled. So just follow what I'm saying and it'll start to make sense. It's hard. They're not going to follow right away because they remember the old you yelling. They're going to keep pushing you until you yell. If you stop yelling, they're going to stop pushing. You got to do all the work first and they will follow. You lead, they will follow. But you got to go through some storms to get there. Everyone wants to avoid the storm. The storm is the lesson. The rainbow's on the other side of that. But it's going to be difficult. I've never said this was easy. Getting respect is really hard work. Maintaining it's a piece of cake. Piece of cake. But getting there, really hard. I play with my grandkids, treasure hunts, tea parties. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be just wallowing in your grandkids. I wasn't that excited about being a grandmother, not compared to being a mom. I mean, I was excited. I knew I'd love my grandchildren, but I had no idea. It's not as good as parenting because she's not mine, right? She's someone else's, but it's pretty freaking fabulous. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I do. How do you become crazy and silly when you're frustrated at them all the time? You got to find moments, okay? You just have to find it. You're frustrated all the time, but you gotta give first before that frustration goes. How do I explain that? I'm not very good at coming up with an answer here. Okay, they're driving you nuts all the time. How on earth do I play with kids that are mean or nasty or acting out all the time? You do anyway, okay? You do anyway. Find your moments. But that's kind of tricky. It's a very good question, actually. I might talk to my daughter about doing a podcast on that because it's very involved. How on earth do you connect with kids that are acting out all the time, right? Well, you're on that behavior board. There you go. Try the behavior board. If they're 3 and above, and you're on that board too. So if you yell, you get a consequence. They start to look at you differently. That's where you start. Your consequences is where this all starts. If you're not accountable, they're never going to respect you. You're just going to be a dictator or an authority, and they'll rebel as they get older, especially in the teen years. But they never rebel against a leader. They can't, right? Because they can't rebel against a leader because there's no authority. But it doesn't mean that they're acting out. Kind of hard to explain. I want to tell you a story, but it's one I only tell in coaching, so it's kind of more private about my own family. But yeah, they just don't rebel against a leader because there's nothing to rebel against. Anyway, but yeah, start with the behavior board, and your consequences is the start of the real connection, because your consequence is 10 minutes of hide and seek, or it's 10 minutes for them. It's something you're doing for them. So if you yell, you have to make it up to them. And also, you can never put no yelling for the kids. You can never put anything attitude-based as a rule for the kids, because their attitude, they're just victims of you. Their attitude is you caused it, not them. Their bad attitude towards you is your fault, not theirs. So you cannot blame them for their bad attitude. You got to blame yourself. It's the way you have to do this, okay? If you don't, you're not a leader. And it's interesting, whenever I say that and people get upset with me, well, we to blame and shame. Yeah, but you're doing it to your kids. Like, who do you love more? Is it their fault or your fault? Of course it's your fault. But why would you rather blame your kids than yourself? Who do you love more, you or your kids? Okay? Always take full responsibility for their behavior. Always. That's a leader. Three-and-a-half-year-old twins, tips for consequences when they resist cleaning up their toys. Be very specific on how that's done. Also use a toy rotation system. And what I mean by you can't just say clean up your toys. You have to say something like this. Here's the line down the middle. You clean up that half of the room. You clean up that half of the room. And make it very explicit what cleaning up means. You know, there has to be a place for everything. You can't expect kids to clean up a cluttered area that's got too much stuff. It's ridiculous. Sorry. Another good way of doing that could be, their rule could be pick up 15 toys within 15 minutes of being asked to do so. So you're only going to get 30 toys picked up, but that's better than none, right? So if they don't do it, then there's a consequence. And don't worry about the consequence. Look on the free behavior board. Don't worry about what the consequence is. Everyone thinks that's the answer. It has nothing to do with it. The consequence is just do a good deed. That's it. Do a chore. Do something good. But everyone thinks that there's this perfect consequence. No, not at all. You're focusing on the wrong thing. The right thing is the consistency and the clear direction on what needs to be done, the clear understanding of the rule. And then if they break it, the consequence is kind of inconsequential. How do you introduce and explain the behavior board to a 3-year-old? They're going to learn as they go. They're not going to get it all right. If they just turn 3, they're not going to get it all right away. They'll be like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then it starts up. And what makes them learn fast, they're very quick when it suits them. So it's your consequences for them. Like if you yell, you make sure you yell. Make sure you mess up so you show them how this is done. Your consequence gets them very interested in that board, right? And then they start to get it. They put it together. But yeah, they learn as they go. But they can learn. It's funny because a lot of parents will say to me, well, they're too young to learn that. But it's funny because they'll brag about how gifted they are. But then when it comes to the bad behavior, well, they didn't understand. And so all of a sudden they're raving morons. So they're gifted and just way super advanced, but they don't understand that they shouldn't hit their little brother at 3 years old. Yeah, they understand. So you can't have it both ways. They can figure this out at 3. But you never put attitude on there. That's ridiculous. Remember, their bad attitude is caused by you. You're the one who is the cause of their bad attitude, not them. You can't punish them for something you did to them. Okay, I've tried to access the behavior board online, your website, several times and never get it. We have perfected that by now. You must be putting in the wrong website or something. We've really perfected that. If you're really struggling, there is an email that you can go online. My daughter will pick that up eventually. And but yeah, she's been very careful. Follow the directions to a T. Usually what happens is someone's put in .con, C-O-N or something like that. It's almost always the wrong website. Or they forgot the dot, they put a comma. And then they're all, oh, we didn't get it. Yeah, that's because you're not .con, you're .com. So it's usually something like that. Might not be, but we've been doing this for quite a while now, and it's always something that you've just missed. So it's very explicit directions. Someone got real mad at me once, and they said, you offer this free behavior board, and then you don't even give it, and they had done .com. My daughter and I laughed just because they got real snotty about it. That was funny. Yeah, offering free, we should report you for don't deliver it. If that was you, yeah, we were laughing at you, but we're not going to tell the name. I don't remember it. Don't remember it anyway. It was very funny because we both said, "What are the odds it's going to be .con?" I've done stuff like that. What was it I did a while ago? Whereas I got all upset over something, and it turns out it was my fault. I'm really good at eating crow, though. I laughed. Okay, do you have a book? No, I would like to write one, but my daughter won't let me. We don't have time right now. She's in charge of all the planning. I would like to do a boot camp on teenagers first, before the book. I think she's agreed with me on that. And then we'll get to a book. I'll be honest, if I quit coaching, I would have a book out by now, but I love coaching so much. It's my favorite thing in my business. So good night, Tabitha. But yeah, I would love to write a book one day. Any books you recommend for under 2? You mean for you or for them? I've never read a book on kids, but if it's kids' books, yeah, Dr. Seuss is one of my go-tos. Not for me, but for my granddaughter. I love them too. One Fish, Two Fish. Are You My Mother? Those are 2 of my favorites. And Green Eggs and Ham. For you as a parent, yeah, I don't know any. I've never read a book on kids or parenting, so I don't know. No clue. Yeah, everything I've learned through kids. They taught me, and teenagers, they taught me everything. In the field, learning as I go. Do you offer classes, personalized one-on-one? Really? Oh yeah, that's coaching. but there's a big wait list for that, but you can get on there. It might take a month or several. I'm not sure. Because what happens is the longer people wait, they often buy the course, or they just end up just going, or maybe they hire someone else. So a lot of people drop off the list. Like I think, and I keep increasing my prices to try and combat the list, but that hasn't worked. I think at my biggest, I probably shouldn't say this, but I don't have a filter. I think I hit 300 people were on the wait list in the summer. And then it was very stressful for me. Anyway. And the problem is, not the problem, but all my past clients, most of them rehire me, and they always get first come, first serve. Always. I always go back to them first. So that's why it takes so long. But then sometimes I'll just have I'll finish with them all up, and then the people on the wait list will have dropped off or hired someone else because they couldn't wait. And then you never know how fast that list is going to go. But you know what? I'll be honest. Coaching is very expensive. It's very personalized. But it's very expensive. If you just get that free behavior board and listen to the podcast, and then maybe get one of my courses, I have 2 of them. That might be all you need. Yeah, it is amazing, Anna, but I'm in the caring field, and it's very stressful. I find it very stressful. Not being able to serve people who need my help, I find that very stressful. And coaching is like nothing else. It's very personal. So yeah, it's just very different. And that's why I feel like it's so frustrating. The name of the podcast is called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. And we're extremely blown over by the response to it. They said, I looked this up. They said that if you're really lucky in the first year of podcasting, you might hit 10,000. We hit 1 million, and we're absolutely blown away, just blown away. What that says to me is that our message is working. And it's my message, but my daughter sells it. She's marketing, right? She does all that stuff. It's working. It must be helping, because a lot of people that are coming through from other people telling them. So it must be working. I really believe in what I'm teaching. I've been teaching this. I would say my business, I started in 2007. So that was 18 years ago. I would say the first 15 years were a struggle in my business. People were not listening to what I said. Yeah, I was working. I was getting referral work, and that. But it was a struggle. I thought, is no one really going to get this? That this is the way to go. You want to be friends with your kids. You want to be a leader. You want them to feel good about themselves. You want them to have a voice, okay? I really believed in this, and I was up against all that pleaser parent stuff. Use your words and participation awards and make everything easy for them and all this stuff that is just garbage. Frustrated the heck out of me. And then finally, 3 years ago, BratBusters took off. I went on TikTok and blew up overnight. And it's not like, yippee, we're making money. It's not like that. It's like, finally, this message I've been working on for 50 plus years, people are starting to get it. I get emotional. But I've been volunteering with kids since I was 11 years old. I really believe in this. It makes them feel good, and it makes them easy to be with and a pleasure to be with. Makes them enjoyable. I want you to wallow in your kids like I did. I want you to enjoy parenting. And that's what my message is all about. It's not about raising nice kids. That's just a bonus. I want you to enjoy parenting like I did. I want you to wallow in it and say it was the most fun time in my whole life, just like I say. I loved it. It was fun. I had these gorgeous little people that I just wallowed in and enjoyed, and they were fun. We were friends. But I was still mom. I was a leader. So that's what I want for you. So that's why I'm so thrilled the podcast is doing well. That's what makes me happy, is my message is finally being picked up, because I really believe in it. I really do. Anyway, I got to go. Check out my website, BratBusters.com. You can get my free behavior board, my courses. You can look into coaching and the podcast, BratBusters Parenting Podcast. If you want to watch us do it, that's on YouTube. And it's BratBusters Parenting on YouTube. All we put on there is the podcast and the lives. Anyway, happy parenting.